bridge collapsed. The mountain road washed out. All the signs are obscured by fog. Your only directions are detours. Eventually it dawns on you. Sometimes you need to get lost to discover where you're supposed to be. Welcome to Merlin's Barn.
All right. So I was thinking about this. With AI, is it like the Shakespeare and the Thousand Monkeys? You put 1,000 monkeys, 1,000 typewriters, and eventually they write Shakespeare. If you locked AI in with itself, will it eventually just make every paragraph just blithering gibberish and make every photograph blurry?
Oh,
Because
that's a
it
thought.
seems like every logo or photo that AI touches is just slightly out of focus. So left alone long enough, will they just be completely just blah?
I like that. That's a good thought. And with that, should I open?
Yeah, let's just let's get onto a
Let's just
podcast.
roll into it. Okay, so with that opening thought, this is Merlin, and broadcasting to you as always from Fort Blanket, south of the Yukon. This is Merlin's Barn, and you have myself tonight, and then we have
Matt. Last episode we had Merlin and we had Tasha, not Matt. And as I've threatened before, if we have 3 episodes in a row that don't have Merlin, we're changing the name of the podcast. So far, Merlin's maintained his presence in every episode, so we're good.
This is sort of like me with the Living History group that I run that I think since 2019, and it's now hitting me that I've been running them for about 7 years. But since 2019, I think I've missed like 2 camp setups or something like that, which I still don't know how I've done that, honestly, because that means I've been at almost every single event in 7 years.
That's a lot.
It's a lot. It's a lot. I enjoy it, though. I don't enjoy the logistics, but I do enjoy it. So tonight we've got, it's a ramble. We're going to talk to you about Lawn Chair Larry. We're going to talk to you about aspirations to drive an ancient Volvo in the cold in a rally in Alaska. And whatever else strikes our fancy, you will be subjected to.
Yeah, we don't know where it might go, but we know where we're going to start. So I want to talk about Larry Walters because just a few days ago was the anniversary of his July 2nd balloon flight. Yes, this is the man who in 1982 tied 42 weather balloons to a Sears lawn chair and then proceeded to rapidly ascend to 16,000 feet, where airline pilots were calling the control tower at LAX to report this incursion into what is normally vacant airspace.
And I remember when I first heard this, that there were, and I can't verify, I don't know if you saw this, but there were apparently pilots who were seeing him who were not calling him in because they were quite concerned about being tested for drugs when they landed.
I believe it. I haven't got that far into research, but I would not be at all surprised. Because no, it's not an urban legend. Larry did exist. Larry did, with the help of friends, tie 42 helium-filled weather balloons to a lawn chair. He did gain a whole lot of altitude really fast. And he also mostly successfully landed with minimal damage and then faced FAA fines.
I just can't, I'm surprised the launch chair held up to the launch. How did they, I want to know how they weighted it down. Well, actually, I have so many questions, and this is good because this will lead to the full episode on Lawn Chair Larry.
So when I started researching this, I thought it was going to be a quick research project. Crazy man ties way too many balloons to a piece of patio furniture, takes off on a whim, nearly dies, FAA fines him, end of story. Turns out not quite. Larry had spent years planning this, and his girlfriend, Carol Van Dusen, was heavily involved as well. In fact, she went into a good bit of debt helping fund this project. There were drawings, schematics, carefully planned loadout with ballast, devices for controlling descent, a radio that Larry used to keep in contact on the civilian band or CB with the local REACT team, that's volunteers who monitor CB Channel 9 for emergencies. He had all this all planned out.
It's a lot more planned than I actually thought it was.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a documentary being worked on about him.
I think he's also the only actual person who survived a Darwin Award.
Yes, he was. He did get an honorary mention, I think it was. To this day, his flight continues to impact with songs, TV episode plots, a movie, and even, as Tasha pointed out, a musical. So I'm still researching Larry and his flight and his story. You're gonna have to tune in another time to hear the full story once we know it, because yeah, I thought that was gonna be a 2 page. This was gonna be an easy. There's a lot more going on.
What's and did you? I think you did. You mention the lawn chair being in the Smithsonian now?
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's the other. So there's completely so much to unpack with that one. So that one will be coming up, lawn chair Larry, and we have a bunch of other oddball ones. I mean, I've got to find the website that I was digging into a while back that has like layers and layers about the blowing up a whale in Oregon.
Oh yes.
Sadly, one of my quests to do an episode, there is just not enough on Mike the Headless Chicken. I think we could do about 10 minutes. At the same time, I could just record that as a little video talking to just talking to the camera and put it on Instagram or something.
I mean, if we need to, we could try to get hold of Nathan McScarry and see if he can offer some further insight. The author of the Rise and Fall of the Sideshow Geek.
Oh yeah, there we go. So those are a start. And the next step is, I guess we're on to our Alaska rally discussion.
Yeah. So a couple months ago, the last time we were recording one of the Alaska or Rust episodes.
I think it was the last time we were recording at all, I think.
Probably was.
Yeah.
It's been a busy time of year. We were sitting back with the mics off and started talking about, we had both known about this, and neither of us had researched any, the Alcan rally or the Alcan 5000.
It was something I ran into. I don't know. It was several years ago because several of us who were on the Alaska Arrest trip were looking at things on the Alaska Highway, and I threw up. We have a private group, Facebook group for people who are on the trip, and I found something about this winter rally, or I may have discovered it because we started a group of us started discussing how we would really like to run the Alaska Highway in the snow. And I had been watching an amazing show called Roadkill, which now no longer exists, and I'm not sure how you find it. It's Dave Freiberger and Mike Finnegan, and they actually drove a Ford Ranchero all the way up the Alaska Highway to go ice racing with the car. I think that may have been my first inspiration to start going, I really want to drive it in the snow, and then finding out that, oh, there's this rally, which is completely insane.
Yeah, the rally started in 1984, and then run it every 4 years or every 2 years. Every 4 years is the winter one. Every 4 years is the summer one. So they kind of run like an Olympic sort of schedule.
Okay, so they do like alternate years.
Yep, and their website, it says that they've been on the web since 1995, and their website reflects it.
Oh my Lord, it's that. I think I've looked at it before. It's an old style one, isn't it?
Quite. It has frames.
Wow.
Yep, it's impressive, but it's up to date with information even up to the most current one.
The sad thing, it's like while we were talking about at dinner, it's like my completely outdated website from 2003 that I pay for every year. I have no idea how to access to program it to do any further content on it. I don't even remember how I did the content on it. It is a very old style. In fact, if anybody listening wants to look at it, it is Hanson, Hanson, mechanical.com. And it's my car and engine collection that I had back from up to 2010. I think I only have a couple of the vehicles that are on that. And we were talking about dinner. It's so outdated that every now and then it used to get shut down because the hosting company thought that it was doing, what was it, a Trojan horse type?
Trojan horse, yeah.
Yeah, and I had to explain to them. I was like, no, it's not doing any Trojan horse thing. It is so old and its coding is so old that your software doesn't even recognize what it is. And I'd have to have that phone conversation like 3 times before they would finally just back off and leave it alone. In fact, that was, I think, 2 years in a row of that. I was thinking of just letting the thing die because I was like, I don't want to do this once a year. It's not really worth it. Although it is fun just going to it and going, oh, yeah, that was mine. I don't know where it is now.
So Also, well, later on, we caught the guy with the prancing moose stickers also has an old website. Just there's a theme here.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So you want to explain how this rally works?
Sure. Okay, so you can correct for adjust for fire here, but the Alaska Highway is what, roughly 1,400 miles long?
Possibly. I'm not good with numbers. So
Okay.
that sounds about right.
All right.
13 to 1400, something
Yeah.
like that.
Wikipedia said 1387, so
Okay, that makes sense.
currently it said it was longer originally, but it's been straightening
Yeah, because it used to wind all over the place.
quite a
and
bit
then,
more.
And then they've realized, oh, we could just straighten this section or straighten this section, or
Okay.
we really don't like the fact that this is going along the edge of a cliff and we could drop it down further and have people not drive off the cliff.
Okay. Sounds about right then. So the Alcan Winter Rally is 5,000 miles, of which portions of it are on the Alaska Highway. But it starts in Seattle, finishes in Anchorage, but along the way, every year it's run a little bit different and it varies. Sometimes it's more than 5,000 miles, sometimes it's less.
Yeah.
But along the way, it'll make sure to, pick up some additional stops like going to Yellowknife or going to Evansville inside the Arctic Circle, population 12.
It was like chicken, which I was talking about in the last episode that I recorded and put up yesterday,
Or
which is
going
listed as 12 people, maybe 50 at a high point.
Or the 2020 one involved actually driving on some of the ice roads and going to Tuktoyaktuk
That sounds
and
almost correct. Somebody will probably email us and yell at us, but
yeah, which is like really north in Canada.
yeah. Well, I think you said it gets through the Arctic Circle every single time.
The three route maps I printed out of like the last three, the 16, 20, and 24 rallies, they hit the Arctic Circle. So
I think one
I
of
think
them
it was on your list, your to-do list.
Yeah, Arctic Circle's on my to-do list. I got almost excited for a minute when recording the last Alaska Rest episode when I saw that this border crossing we'd crossed through on the top of the World Highway was the northernmost border crossing. I was like, oh, maybe I did go into the Arctic Circle. But then I looked it up. I was like, nope, I did not go into the Arctic Circle, and I'm sad.
What were you, like 1 degree short or something? Like,
I don't know. I got to go back and look at the map again. I may go back and look at the map and find out I did go, and I just didn't realize it. But they tend to put big signs up wherever there's a road and you're in the Arctic Circle.
okay.
But I mean, still darn cool. Farthest north border crossing in North America. That's still not as exciting as the Arctic Circle, though.
So, you all can email us and correct us if I'm wrong. We are interested in in these rallies. We are not rally people, so if I have things wrong, you can tell us. In fact, interaction would be great. Email us anyway.
We like emails. We don't get any. We're just sort of lonely. We know people are listening because, well, actually, yeah, I don't get emails. I tend to get texts or people come up and just talk to me about the episodes. Occasional Facebook messages as well.
Yeah, I've seen some of the Facebook messages. So you have what you think of as a rally. You think what you picture as a rally with a Subaru like Impreza, like jumping over across, catching air and flying down a gravel road. And
from my childhood, I picture there was a rally Lancia.
Okay, yes.
I picture because I built
Lancias or the Audi Quattros or
because I built a beautiful model when I was a kid of that rally Lancia. I wish I still had it. It was really nice. But yeah, that's like what I get in my head is or the Audi Quattros or stuff like that.
Catching air and then it hits the corner and spins off and flips off down the road and then all the onlookers help push it back in the road so it keeps going.
Yes.
Yeah, so those are cross country rallies or stage rallies, where it's all about the speed from stage to stage. The rallies we're looking at, the Alcan rally, which is the king of it, being this kind of length, are these TSD rallies, or time, speed, and distance rally, or regularity. And that is to get from point A to point B as precisely in time as possible.
Which involves, I'm guessing, a lot of speeding up and slowing down and then speeding up if you run into the Nordquist herd of buffalo and you don't get to move any further for a bit.
Right, and a lot of math on the part of the navigator to go, okay, we have to cross the next 33 miles at an average speed of 30 miles per hour average, you're stopping at stop signs and all. So we have to figure out what your speed you need to maintain between the stop signs and then adjusting when you have to herd a buffalo in a way.
So was this the result of mathematicians who like to drive?
Apparently, from what I learned earlier today, was this is a result of a road rally in France in like the 1890s.
It was that bicycles or carriages or the first two automobiles?
The early automobiles, like
Oh, wow.
steam-powered ones, some petrol engine ones.
Oh, wow.
And it was, who arrived the safest, not the fastest.
Oh, wow. That's really cool.
So this can be run on public roads with traffic going on because you're not running past people. But
that's cool.
So the Alcan 5000 is part TSD and part touring. A sample of the instructions from the 2022 summer one has them starting. They depart the hotel at 7:30 in the morning, and then they have to arrive at the beginning of this TSD portion at 9 o'clock, 67 miles later. That's when they got to start.
Okay.
And for the next 33 and a half miles, they have to follow strict time, speed, and distance objectives. So they cross the control point at 9:54 and 14 seconds, or as close as possible to that. And
Wow.
the control points are either monitored by a rally official or by GPS in your car, so they trigger it, and you win by being closest to the exact time.
Does the Great Race do this?
I don't know.
I have to look that up because I don't know if that's actually a rally like this or not. I can't remember.
So the way the Alcan one works is it's a combination of that and touring. So they have TSD sections and then drive 400 miles on the Alaska Highway to the next hotel.
After the TSD sections.
After you just spend an hour of stressful driving trying to hit this point exactly.
Oh, wow.
And then go drive 400 miles, 500 miles to the next place. And then do it again the next day.
I wonder why they break it up like that. Well, of course, it's the Alaska Highway, and there's usually a nice amount of stuff in 400 miles.
Well, I think it's a combination of trying to do the rally competition and then also this huge Great North Tour.
Yeah.
I think it's trying to do a combination of the two.
Okay.
Is my theory on it. Of course, there's other winter rallies that are strictly these TSD rallies that are much shorter, that are 4 hours, 6 hours, 8 hours.
Yeah.
Found one that was in Ontario and they run them at night.
Yeah, see, I like that. That's probably all. I wonder if that's because there's just a lot less people on the road at that point.
I would imagine so. I would think that would be why they would do that.
Less people, more moose. Don't hit the moose. Moose wins.
And I thought that one was really neat, the one that was in Ontario, because it's called the Polar Bear Rally.
Yeah.
Just a great name. It's $110 for the entry fee.
It's in Canada, so that just makes me happy.
So that's, nothing American, right? I mean...
$5. Somebody's going to yell at me.
Yeah. It goes for about 8 hours, and it starts it starts at... I had the time in here before. It starts like 10 or 11 o'clock at night or something.
See, I'll be all for that.
And it finishes with breakfast. But if that's too much for you for $60...
However, is the breakfast at Tim Hortons?
No, it's at the community center. What was that?
Oh, maybe they have Tim Hortons coffee.
Well, you can probably get some Tim Hortons along the way, because if that was too much for you, for $60, you could do the Bear Cub Rally, which is their short version.
What was that, like 4 hours or something?
Yeah, but then apparently, I really like this attitude they had. If you were halfway through and you were too amped up on coffee and you wanted to keep going, at that point, you could then pay the remainder of the registration and then keep running the rally to the end.
I like that.
Yeah.
It's like you can decide.
No, we're good. We're going to push on through till 4 a.m. and do the rest.
Keep talking. I'm going to move a chair because, as usual, we have a cat needing attention, and he's about to leap onto the laptop.
Oh, that would be
a mess. A mess.
There's another one called a Winter Challenge Rally in Vermont. It's another one. It's a night run. It starts at 4 p.m. and wraps up about 1 a.m. And then another challenge I came across was a Michigan Winter Rally. It's 215 miles on unpaved roads.
That sounds cool.
And I guess one of the challenges was Michigan has some strict laws about studded snow tires.
Okay.
And so I think that one's on unpaved roads, but without studded tires.
A lot of skidding.
Probably so.
Sounds like something on the UP.
Yeah, it did say which counties, and I forget now.
Is
So I
there like
don't
a
remember what
requirement that
Michigan.
you watch something like Escanaba in the moonlight before you actually drive it?
And it starts at noon and finishes about 8:30. So you get a few hours of daylight before it's just dark and you're in gravel roads in the woods.
And that's a winter one again, right?
That's not a
I'm
winter
I'm
one.
I'm all for all of the winter ones, honestly.
And there was more I came across in like Wisconsin and such that are all wintertime ones.
Is there anything down this way, or
There's rallies, but not winter specific ones.
okay?
I was looking at
Well,
winter ones
we don't have
because
real winter.
you and I are looking at the winter ones.
Yeah, I like winter. An excuse to go north is absolutely fantastic. An excuse to go north of the border just makes me feel like I'm at home. So,
Yeah, I thought the winter ones were really cool. And hey, no mosquitoes.
yeah, oh yeah, that's absolutely fantastic. And quite honestly, I've had to explain to several people if it's 15 degrees out, I will very happily stand there and just stand there in the ice and snow with my cup of coffee and be ecstatic. In fact, we had the event that we were at this past weekend. We had a young lady who was all the way from 6 hours north of Toronto.
Oh wow,
Yes, she was very happy Canadians were there. She's like, it's a home.
that's great. So this is something Merlin and I had independently had been thinking about, and we both knew about the Alcan rally. Thought this would be really cool, and then we got talking about it. Like we should do it.
Yes. Yeah, I think this came up like, well, it probably came up like a couple when we were, after we were recording one of the Alaska Rustics.
Right.
In fact, you probably just said that a couple minutes ago, and I'm an idiot. I'll shut up now.
We were sitting around after the recording and just talking about it. Like this would be really cool to do. And then I just came back from 2 weeks ago. I was at an overseas security, personal security training course for work to keep myself from being, kidnapped or run off the road or carjacked or whatever when I'm traveling for work overseas.
You're going to talk about the whole stick shift thing? You should tell them about the last stick shifts versus the stick shifts that you have now.
Oh yeah, could you? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So this course, yeah. So a good portion of it is driving and learning to do high performance driving and some track driving and the skid pad where they slippery and they hose it down with water. That's a lot of fun. I wanted to play on it a lot more.
Oh, that's cool.
All you can do is just drive through it and you get to play on it.
Mm.
And yes, the previous vehicles we got to use were these Jeep Liberties, I think, or Compasses, whatever.
So they have you skidding in those?
No, they were just that was not the track car. That was just a driving back and forth.
Okay, I was like, I
around.
just can't picture doing anything in those other than just hoping you get to your destination fervently.
Yeah, somebody described them as having a 0 to 60 time of yes.
I'd put more as a maybe. I think yes is very, very, I think that's being an optimist. Yes.
But this time there were Subaru WRXs, which were an immense amount of fun.
And this actually came up with is that just because they were the only ones they could get or because they actually wanted to do real performance driving?
I think it's getting what they can actually just get like stock manual transmission in the U.S.
Oh, wow. I was very excited. I went into, actually showed up at church last week, and my friend Devin showed up, and she had a new car, and she always has a car with a stick shift. So she's been very much like my phone is this science experiment that's been going on for years. For those who don't know, I'm using a Samsung S10 that I think I picked up when I was moving into the barn. Now the battery is dying pretty fast, so sometime in the next week we will be upgrading, and maybe it can get yeeted in the next defenestration party. But she shows up and she's got a Hyundai. I was like, oh, new car. I'm used to blue, this little 4-cylinder Ford sedan, bright blue that had 260,000 miles on it. That was a stick shift. And she managed to find a 20, I don't know, it's maybe like a between 2019 and 2021 Hyundai with a stick shift.
Oh wow!
So she is quite an ecstatic person, and she's maintaining blue on the side just as an extra. But she did this as a proactive. Blue is definitively going to blow up at some point because he shouldn't be alive anymore.
Yes. So cars. That brings up the next topic. What car should we have if we're going to go on winter rallies, especially across 5,000 miles of Canada and Alaska?
And when I was first thinking about it, I know I think we were discussing, I think like the Jeep gang and I, we were discussing like different options, and it would be very hard. I don't think we were going the vintage Jeep option because freezing to death is bad. And if you don't know vintage Jeeps, Jeeps from the 40s and 50s don't have fantastic heating systems. So I think originally I was probably thinking of just taking Junior, my black four-door Jeep.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that would work. I mean, there's several,
Cherokee was my other thought, I
several,
think.
several, several Wranglers and Cherokees have actually run the Alcan Rally. My
No,
first thought was like a Subaru, of course. Everyone thinks a Subaru, of course.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah, then I was eyeing up Subarus for a while, but when you mentioned the WRXs, I'm like, oh, Subarus. I like Subarus.
but I started
Subarus are
looking to
nice.
see. I started looking at what was running in the Alcan Rally the last several times, and yes, there's the European 4x4s from BMW and Audi and whatever and such.
Yeah.
And yes, there's a plethora of Subarus, but there are also, Jeep Wranglers, GMC and Chevy 1500 pickup trucks, multiple BMW Minis.
I think we should go for a real challenge and get a Trabant.
I mean, we're getting close because somebody did do it in the 73 Mercury Capri twice.
That might be a little bit better than a Trabant.
Yeah, yeah. I'd be worried
Has
about the
anybody done it in a Volkswagen Beetle?
I didn't see a Beetle, but Passats, Golfs, and Rabbits all have been used.
I'm thinking probably not a vintage air-cooled Beetle because heat, although they did have the auxiliary heating systems in them, which made them survivable in like Switzerland and stuff like that. But that's interesting. You said this has been going on since 84?
Yeah. And I didn't see.
They're really good in snow, too. I'm actually a little bit surprised that nobody's done it in an air-cooled Beetle. It'd be fun in a Rabbit. I could absolutely see a Rabbit.
Yeah, I would imagine that would be pretty good. It was a Dodge Power Wagon, Ford Rangers.
Oh, I love the idea. I think we were talking about this a while back. The Ford Ranger came up, and I'm just picturing this. Did the Ford Rangers died, didn't they?
The four-wheel drive failed, and they wound up doing the whole thing in two-wheel drive.
So there's no point in
And
getting
I think somebody had commented that if he might as well just taken his wife's Caravan if it was going to two-wheel drive the whole way anyway, because it would have been more comfortable than the Ranger.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, hey, you did it in a pickup truck, so manly, but it's a tiny pickup truck, so eh?
Some Porsche 944s, which is
That'd be interesting.
that'd be. I think it'd be a bit of a challenge. Like
That'd be interesting. As I was saying earlier, that reminds me of the that wonderful Instagram page, Brian's Questionable Decisions, where there's this fellow, I think he's a doctor, who in 2020 packed up his old Ferrari and just started driving it everywhere that Ferraris shouldn't go. So if you're on Instagram, look up Brian's Questionable Decisions, because you'll see pictures of this old Ferrari, like in the Rockies or way up in Canada somewhere on a dirt road, just every place that you shouldn't see a Ferrari.
yeah,
So that's sort of the Porsche almost puts me there
yeah,
in a way.
944 is in that category there. And then there was a Volvo 242 in 2012. The 242 is the coupe version of the venerable, Volvo 240 series.
This was the two-door, right?
Yeah.
Which are weird and shouldn't exist and
Yeah,
are an abomination to
awkward.
man. I think I've seen one of those with like what is it called? Like a landaulet style roof or something, where it was like a two-door and then it had the little sort of S thing at the back, and it was probably custom, but it was the most.
Oh,
I don't know. It was
wow.
hideous. It was absolutely hideous. This is popping into my head, and I think this was possibly something that, with a lot of therapy, I'd blocked out years ago.
Yeah, this sounds just.
Bad.
That sounds almost okay. So, side note, this sounds like that Chrysler Maserati like thing they did at one point.
Yes, yes, yes. I know exactly what you're talking about. Was it Chrysler or Cadillac?
I think it was Cadillac, but there was Maserati and one of the American car makers, and it's just like, what is this thing?
I think it was Cadillac because I think my granduncle had one. Yeah, it was weird and it was hideous and it was an abomination.
It's like,
And
what did you do, Maserati? Why?
somebody was high or drunk or owed the mafia money. I'm not totally sure.
So let's just go circle back to this whole thing about the Volvo 240.
I will preface with Matt brought this up a few days ago, stumbled into the Volvo 240s, and I was sitting there going, I love 240s. They make me happy. They're bricks. They're just bricks, and I love so many non-aerodynamic things.
Exactly. They're bricks. They didn't try to do styling.
It's sort of, well, it's interesting if you look at Volvos. They went from like, I guess what you call it, the 100 series, which was sort
Yeah.
of like rounded and cute. And prior to that, they had the ones that looked, whatever the series prior to that was, looked like 1940s sedans.
Oh yeah,
Except
those are neat.
except those were like 1960s. Um, and then they went from nice and round to we will update ourselves because hey, it's the 80s or late 70s and square. Because square.
And they stuck with it for 2 decades.
I love that they stuck with it. Just square.
I think of it as an engineer's car. It's the B-52 of mid-sized cars.
They just keep going and going.
Yeah.
And this plays into like we're discussing, and you said you haven't seen any on your commute, but your commute is to DC,
Yeah, DC direction. Yeah, Northern Virginia and all. So.
whereas I'm commuting from Littlestown, PA to Baltimore, and things that I've seen showing up more and more in my world of car driving are Volvo 240s, or even going up to the Gettysburg area. You didn't see a lot of them for a while, but in my world of commuting, it's down to it's not uncommon to at least once a day pass a Volvo 240 that at this point is probably 40 years old. With somebody bopping along, just driving it as a regular commuter. They also don't seem to rust out as much as other cars.
Yeah, I was noticing that as I've been kind of looking around at some for sale. And it's like, oh, that's got a little rust there. That's a little rust there. That's a New Hampshire car, only a little rust. I'm like, how? What?
I think it comes down to Sweden again. They came
Yeah.
from Sweden.
It was the engineers. I mean, they built everything in that car extra than was necessary.
Well, first off, I think were they contemplating they should survive a moose hit with those, or did that only come later?
The passengers had to survive the moose hit. Like they had to.
Oh, the
they were like
driver's expendable. The driver could die from moose.
well, the driver was be good too, but they had that whole thing. Like, before anyone else, they had that whole thing where like the whole front end would just collapse up and the passenger compartment stay intact. Like
Well, I remember as a kid that they were just considered the safest cars.
yeah, that's why my parents had one.
That's we had. I mean, let's see, had so many friends whose family had them, and I don't think it was like definitive. I don't think it was a status symbol thing. It was just sort of this is a solid car.
Yeah, yeah. The quantifiable thing I could pull out was that these things had an engine that was depending exact model year, 100, 114 horsepower.
I can't verify this without taking time and looking it up, but I do remember years ago, my friend Father Navicki, back then before he was a priest, he and I were teaching together at Old Court Middle School in Randallstown, a hellhole that no longer exists that has been renamed into a magnet school, which is an entire side rant of 3 episodes, which will literally never happen. But he does these deep dives into things that he finds interesting, whether it's a historic piece or whether it's something engineering wise. Like one point, he got really into those GMC camper RVs from the 70s that they used in the movie Stripes.
The urban assault vehicle?
Yeah.
The EM50?
Yes, yeah. So he had one of those, but way prior to that, he just started doing research one day and then just deep dove into Volvo 240s and was saying I remember him talking to me something about truck bearings and a car engine and just the complete indestructibility of these cars.
Right. I say I haven't gone that far into it, but just here's the quantifiable that I was able to come up with. And I think this applies to the whole car. In later years, Volvo took the same engine, put a turbo and an intercooler on it, and got the thing up to like 162 horsepower. The same engine. No bad consequences, no problems. The turbo models don't blow up. They run fine.
It's because it was so completely over-designed
So
to
if it
begin
can
with.
run fine at 162 horsepower, the thing is not even breathing heavy at 114 horsepower.
Which may be, what'd you say? You saw one where the guy sold it with 500,000 miles
Yeah, I
on it or
personally
something?
know someone who had like over 500,000 miles on his car before he sold it.
That just makes me want it because 500,000 miles on a gas engine really says you've completely over-designed it.
Yeah, and a
which
lot of them are
I'm
that way.
fine with.
Volvo had like their mileage club where you get little badges if you 100,000 and 200,000 all up to like a million.
Yeah, wasn't there the guy? There was that one guy with the Volvo who had like, was it one? It was over 1 million miles. He had
I'm
the car his
sure.
entire life.
Yeah,
He's my inspiration for why every 250,000 miles I want to get Junior, my black four-door Wrangler, rebuilt, because they basically don't fall apart. You just need to mechanically renew them, sort of like a Volvo. Except the Volvos go far longer than or the older Volvos go far longer than a modern XJ, not XJ, Wrangler.
and they made millions of these things. But they're easy to find still now.
Yeah, you see them all over Facebook Marketplace.
And yeah, what style? Okay, yeah, there really isn't any style. But did say it's an engineer's car.
Yeah, I found them comfortable. So I had to drive. Is this good timing to talk about driving one to Canada?
Yeah, well, especially talk about comfort because I mean, if you're going to take the thing for a 5,000 mile journey across Canada and Alaska, you
Yeah,
want reliability and you want comfort.
because I had Vicky had his, and what was it? I think it was like year 2000. Um, I won a motorcycle on eBay, and the guy was up in Canada, and he said he would bring it down to Rochester for me. So what I did was, I was looking for, at the time I didn't have a car that would make it that far, I don't think. Yeah, it was before I bought my the first new pickup truck I ever bought. And so I was talking with Vicky, and he says, well, you could take my Volvo wagon. And the Volvo wagon body was great shape, interior was good. It would run forever. Had some weird electrical issues, which will come up later. And so he loaned that to me, and I ended up doing this run where I think I left, oh God, I think I had to leave like around 9 in the evening or something like that, with a plan to get to Rochester, to get my sister's place at Rochester, like maybe 3 or 4 in the morning,
Okay, yeah.
which ended up being like 5:30 or 6, and I had to meet the guy at 7. And I really enjoyed driving the car. I mean, they're fun to drive. I just took like 15 north. I listened to The Giver book on tape, and that was when I realized that this book should probably be reread by more adults to understand, because we teach it to middle schoolers. I'm like, they're not getting everything that's in here. But I'm doing this trip, and the funny thing I didn't realize with some of the electrical issues were things that the truckers did notice. And I did get to be friendly with the truckers on this route, because it was all trucks. And then this one little red Volvo 240 bopping along that the truckers were talking about. So at one point I was passed by a pickup truck with what was a gorgeous muscle car on a trailer. And it goes zooming past me. And a little while later, that pickup truck and what was the gorgeous muscle car on a trailer were rolled off the road.
Yeah.
Yeah. At which point I was also in a panic because I was almost out of gas and couldn't find an open gas station. So I'm standing there while they're doing recovery, talking to one of the truckers. And I asked him about where can I go for gas? And he says, give me a minute. And he gets on the radio and comes back and he says, all right. He says, you're going to turn around and you're going to go down to the last exit and you're going to pull off. And there's a repair shop gas station that looks closed. He's waiting for you. Go now.
Oh.
Yeah, I think that might have been like 2 in the morning or something like that. So filled up there, and then the kept going, and then it was a while later, there was some point where 15 came up onto a bridge, and you sort of take a left at an intersection at the end of the bridge and keep on going. I don't know if that was up like Williamsport area. I can't remember. But I come up on this bridge, and there's a big rig blocking the other end of the bridge. Just all the way across the lanes, and I'm sort of like, oh shit. So I sort of slowly pull up and come to a stop, just staring at this big rig. And the trucker climbs down from the rig and slowly ambles up to me. And I roll down my window, and I said to him, I said, hi. And he says, hi. He says, we've been talking about you. I'm like, okay, this makes me nervous. I didn't say that, but It's almost like when the teachers are like, "We're having a meeting about you." So the truckers had been having a meeting about me over the CB. And he says to me, I decided that I'd be the one to stop you so we could have a talk. And I'm sitting there going, oh shit, what did I do? Once again, in my head, not out loud. And I said, okay. And he says to me, when you're turning your high beams on, and then mentally I'm like, oh shit, I blinded some trucker. I'm going to die on the bridge. All right. And I said, yeah. He says, don't do that. Still not understand why I'm sitting there going, okay. And then he explains, he says, whenever you turn your high beams on, he says, all of your rear lights go out and your car disappears. He says, we can't see you. He says, keep it on low beam. He says, so we can see where you are. He says, we all know you're out there, but it's a little bit scary when the tiny Volvo just disappears from view. And I thanked him. And with that, he got in his rig, pulled back, got it out of the way of the bridge and continued on his way, and I followed. And I think made it to Rochester, New York at, 5:30. Got like an hour and a half sleep and met a Canadian fellow in a park near there. It looked like a drug deal, except it was, I was getting a motorcycle in pieces.
So the electrical issue, in my research over the last couple of days, I suspect it might have to do, Volvo, I guess, had a problem with heat in the engine bay,
Okay.
slowly crisping and frying the wiring harness in the engine bay forward.
And I think there's a secondary issue that's common, something to do with the tailgate and lights back there.
Oh, there could be that too. And so I guess that's one of the things to look for when you're shopping for one is like check the wiring harness or plan on replacing the wiring harness in the engine bay because it'll get brittle and start doing weird things.
So I think basically your driveline outlives the vehicle. Because I know Navicki kept that car for, I think, a couple years after that. And then sold it to a fellow who went and just sort of redid a bunch of stuff on it and just kept driving it without rebuilding it or anything.
Well, at this point, anything that's rubber on them has to get replaced.
Yeah.
Which apparently that was one of the things everyone goes, rah, rah, and like, let me get all the polyurethane bushings, and then it makes it ride horribly.
Yeah.
So reportedly it was like replace the bushings in the front with polyurethane, but the rear one, all the rear arms and everything, keep them rubber.
Yeah. That's so. And you had one of these growing up, you said?
Yeah. So my parents had one. They had the sedan. I don't remember too much about it. There was some family vacation trips in it. At one point, we had an inflatable boat between my sister and I in the back seat.
Oh, that's cool.
For a family trip. I remember the back seat. The center of the back seat would fold down. That way you could fit skis in it from the trunk.
Yeah, I remember that. I always thought that was so cool. That was the first car I ever saw that was like, really? We're thinking about skis. That's so cool.
Yeah. I remember that, and there was a family trip we were going to do that got delayed by a couple hours because we were getting ready to leave. The windshield wipers quit working. And I was young at the time. I was like 8. I don't know what all my dad did to fix it, but it involved a rubber band. And then we were like back on the road, or got on the road. This was because it happened in the driveway before leaving. So,
funny thing is, when I think style-wise, I sort of when you think of the brick, then you think about my 4-door Wrangler. Profile-wise, it just looks like the off-road taller version of the Volvo brick.
That's where I started looking into mods to the 240 to optimize it for doing these kind of rallies. And one of the recommendations was, and there's a lot of aftermarket parts that do these small 1.5 or 2 inch lifts.
Gets more clearance on rutted roads and stuff like that.
Yeah, it gets it out of the snow a bit more. And then one of the comment from somebody when they saw one was like, "Oh, you've made a fuel efficient Land Rover."
Yeah. Now I'm gonna have to look up though, because there have to be pictures of Volvo 240s rallying places.
There are. Apparently there's people who do rallycross with them, which is the actual get in the dirt and going over jumps and stuff kind of rally.
Oh my God! Well, they're strong enough; they should be able to take it.
Yeah, there's a class of that kind of rallying where they just they'll take and they'll reinforce they'll just weld plate to reinforce the control arms and
that's cool.
Mount to the fender. So
that's cool. So that's the plan then. Volvo 240 rally.
Yeah.
Donate money, folks, please.
Well, there's gonna be more than that. I think it's gonna become organized. Like we're gonna need sponsors. We'll get your name on the side of the car.
We will definitively need sponsors because if like we do what are we looking at, February 2028?
Right. If we try to that one and say the rally itself is a 10-day investment in time. So you figure even shipping the car out there, flying out, doing a rally, shipping the car back, flying back, saying a money no object, but time is everything, you're still looking at like a 2-week commitment of time.
So figure Merlin needs to be able to pay his mortgage that month. So that's one paycheck of mine that I don't get. Which I think they'll let me do it. I think if I could sit there and go, hi, remember I did the Alaska Highway. Remember I wrote this book on it. Remember you really like to support the strange habits of your teachers because it makes us more interesting, or at least that's how I'm interpreting it. Can I go do this completely insane thing that'll make me a more interesting person? But I absolutely know I won't be paid for those 2 weeks. So,
But we can start small in 2027 with rallies closer, like Michigan or Vermont or Ontario.
I'm all for that. I will, and I absolutely know that given about 2 months, I can provide the space here for a little Volvo to exist and start being fixed up because knock on wood, we're moving along on getting Jeeps out of the shop this summer, and also being fairly good at well, I think I've convinced the world enough. I don't have emails asking me to restore Jeeps anymore.
Excellent. So I figured shopping around, looking at the prices of stuff, and a buy it or a build it scenario. Either way, we're looking at the optimal car setup for how for the mod you and I would want, and which is really not all that much. And for what we want to do, we're probably looking at about $6,000 to $8,000 all in.
Yeah. The initial purchase of the car is looking like it's somewhere between $2,500 and $4,000.
Right.
And then not a lot of mods and
Little suspension work, snow tires. Because these rallies actually require, like, not all seasons. They've got to be actual is it like three peak mountain snowflake like rated snow tires, like actual snow tires.
And I think I'm gonna have to look up his name in my phone. I think it's Mike, who rallies the 100s, the Volvo 100s, and lives a county away down in Maryland. So this is going to be an excuse for me to touch base with Mike and go, hi, what do you know about rallying 240s? Because we've just decided that we need to add something else to our wide array of quirky things that we do.
Yeah. And we welcome sponsors. We welcome crew members. We can call you. You can help us out. We can call you crew. In the car, it's going to be just Merlin and myself. Driver and navigator. We'll figure out which one of us is the least bad at math to be the navigator.
You're probably much better at math than I am. I get dyslexic with it.
Yeah, we're going to struggle in that department.
It'll be okay. I mean, I did manage to design a circuit once that corrected something wrong with the modern gauges they're selling for Jeep CJ7s. My dad's brain broke. My mother explained that he was extremely proud, but he never expected he'd get this phone call from his son explaining the resistance and all the measurements and the testing that I'd done. At the same time, I'm pretty darn sure what took me 2 weeks, he could have done in about 45 minutes.
Nice. And yeah, there's modern rally computers. There's GPS. There's apps you can just put on the phone and it can tell you what speed you need to do to hit the.
At the same time, I really, really want to go as analog with this as possible.
Yeah, so there's again, it's a Swedish thing. Again, is these.
I am part Swedish. Doesn't mean I can do math, but I am part Swedish.
Is the, where did it go? Because this is definitely what I want. I definitely want to do these. Holda. Holda made these odometers for rally racing. And it's a secondary odometer that gets
Oh,
tied in with a T-gear to your primary speedometer, odometer, and then is mounted in front of the navigator or the co-driver.
I think we need to go vintage with this because it would also be really cool to take it to car shows
Yes.
and do fundraising that way too. So it can sort of become its own little fundraiser thing with a donation box. Do you want to see us do something stupid with a vintage Volvo? Yes, please donate here.
And these Holda
We can sell tiny
Tripmasters
moose.
are really neat. So this odometer, it counts your miles, of course, but as a navigator, if you got off course, you can stop the odometer from adding any more miles while you got back on course.
I like that. That's cool.
Or if you knew you were backtracking, you can even actually have it reverse. So you got back into course again and then re-engage forward.
Okay, so we need one of those if anybody wants to buy us one.
And of course, you put that on the dash, and then a couple of stopwatches mounted to the dash, clipboard, map light.
Need some appropriate vintage Canadian bumper stickers of the time period.
Oh yeah, we can definitely do the bumper stickers. That'd be good.
Yeah.
And of course, we'll have our flannels.
Yes, yes. And if Vermont Flannel hears this and wants to sponsor us, that's almost the only flannel that we wear. Vermont Flannel. They're not sponsoring us, but it'd be nice if they did.
Because we support you. Vermont Flannel, we'll just be contacting you at some point. We're just going to ask.
And Tim Hortons. Tim Hortons would be great. We talk about Tim Hortons a lot. In fact, we're very excited that Tim Hortons has opened up in Carroll County. And I think tomorrow morning we are going to go on a celebratory breakfast run. And I think it's like 40 minutes from here, but we're going to drive down just so we can stand in front of Tim Hortons and be happy.
There you go. Good
Would
times.
that be our wind off? Our wind down?
I think it'd be pretty good right there.
Yep. Cool. So hopefully we haven't geeked you guys out too much. Look forward to Larry the Lawn Chair Pilot coming up soon. We've got some other stuff in the works, and we're under an hour, so nobody should have fallen off their treadmill today.
Excellent. And if we have geeked out just at the right amount, look for Merlin's Barn, the rally car.
Yes. Yeah. And actually there'll be a new logo. There'll have to be like a new logo because the logo on our, if you know the Merlin's Barn logo, there's the black Jeep in front of it. So we'll have to have have another version done with the Volvo station wagon sitting there, which won't look much different because they're both bricks.
Yeah, it's very similar actually.
Oh, hail the brick.
Should not take Nicole very long to reconfigure the logo.
Slightly shorter brick.
Just lower it a little, stretch the nose out a bit. Okay, good, done.
Shorter brick. All right. Thank you so much for listening. This has been Merlin and
Matt?
And you are all wonderful human beings. And we will talk at you all soon. Take care.
Yeah.